The Most High has always guided our steps, but now it is much more evident that the Most High is only dealing with his people. And you can see that with the way that the information that is being brought out. Who are the people bringing out this information? Who are the ones that are putting these puzzle pieces together? I don't see Gentiles doing anything new. They're teaching nothing but the same doctrine over and over again. Still waiting for that rapture. Still waiting for World War III to pop off. Still waiting for the Antichrist to come. Because that is what they've been told, and that is all that they are allowed to talk about. Let me show you guys a little something about this book that was hidden from the world for 300 years and what was written in there. They've always known who we are, and they've always set up roadblocks to keep us from knowing who we are here till the end. And now the Holy Spirit is guiding our steps and bringing us back home. Did a video on this last night on my YouTube channel. If you want to know some more information, Description of the Indies, circa 1620 by Antonio Vasquez de Espinosa. Let me just show you how this book was lost for 300 years. For more than a decade in the early 17th century, a learned Carmelite friar, Antonio Vasquez de Espinosa, lived and traveled throughout Central and South America. He made notes on what he observed of the Indian cultures, the Spanish administration, the geography of the continent, and the plant and animal life. Upon his return to Spain, he set down a detailed description of the Spanish colonies, including the Philippines and Moluccas, as well as a large part of Central and South America. However, only a portion of this major study had been printed at the time of his death in 1630. See, Psalms 83. We're not getting this no, you cannot see this information. Nope, but the Most High made sure that you brought it out when it was time. Both the printed sheets and remaining manuscript disappeared for more than 300 years. Then in 1930, Charles Upson Clark discovered the handsomely bound volume and the Barberini collection at the Vatican. Although, and there's your number 3 again, 300 years, right? Barberini collection at the Vatican. Although there was no indication of the author, the work has been attributed beyond doubt to Vasquez. Here is a lively account of everyday life in Spanish New World of the early 1600s. This information is vital to understanding who these people are. You know, who these natives were. They wanted to sit there. That's why they hide it, so that they can make up their own. Oh, these people, we were trying to get to, these people from India, they're Indians. But they have nothing to do with the 10 tribes. They have nothing to do with Israelites, because you hide all that information. But now our Father is bringing it all out, just like the timing. He made sure, they got it about 1930s. They had the opportunity to go ahead and translate it, publish it, and then they made sure it was ready for us when it was time for us to awaken, and they made sure that it got into our hands at this time. But see, the church has been trying to push you into 66 books only, the Bible only. That's the only things you have to read. That's it. No history. Don't look at history. Don't look and try to connect history with the Bible. No, don't do that. We'll tell you what it means. Don't read for yourself. This is why. Like I said, these people have always known. Look here at the top. The great majority of the Indians followed, and observed the customs, rites, and ceremonies of the who? Of the Hebrews. Accordingly, in all the provinces of those countries, they had priests and diviners consecrated to the worship of their false gods. See, everything that they don't agree with is called pagan, but all these practices are the things that we did. That's why it's called pagan, because it's the stuff that we supposedly follow with our false gods, okay? So they're saying now that the Hebrews have false gods, okay? And to the service of the temple. And these priests were conscientious observers of their vain and false religion. See, anything that the Hebrews did was vain and false. This is what the whole Inquisition was set up for. This is why they went after us. This is why it was illegal for us to follow our ways, because they were trying to disconnect us from our power. Okay? So in New Spain, there was a high priest and various lesser priests who were anointed with a certain liquid like balsam and liquidambar, okay, mixed with the blood of children whom they circumcised. Like I said, I can't go with everything that you guys are telling me. I said, because there's going to be a lot of things that we did that you were not privy to, that you did not know, okay? These false priests wore their hair long like the Nazarenes. And in almost everything they copied the priests of the old law. Again, in almost everything they copied the priests of the old law. Just as they offered animals in sacrifice, so the Indians offered them. Also, and just as the Hebrews of the 10 tribes sacrificed children, as is clear in 2 Kings chapter 17, and many other passages of Holy Writ, which I omit citing in order to avoid prolixity. So the Indians, descendants of the 10 tribes, sacrificed them also. Besides this, misled and instigated by the devil, they offered cruel human sacrifices, as is described in all the histories of the Indies, and is as well known to us as we have traveled there. Check out this part. Okay? And God commanded Abraham, as is affirmed there in chapter 17 of Genesis, that boys 8 days old should be circumcised. Okay, the same custom is followed by most of the Indians of New Spain, Yucatan, Cozumel, and other regions, and the Guerreros of Paraguay. The Moors are also circumcised, since the miscreant Mohammed took over the custom from the Hebrews. He just copied the Hebrews like everybody else. Consequently, the Indians must have adopted it from the Hebrews, from whom they are sprung. See, back then they already knew. Okay? God commanded Moses, Leviticus, right there, chapter 6, that there should always be a fire burning before the altar without fail. The same rite was observed by the Mexican Indians and other tribes in New Spain, and by the Peruvian Indians in the temples of the sun and other shrines. Okay? So the rites and ceremonies from Leviticus, Deuteronomy, and the Decalogue observed by the Hebrews were found among the Indians. So is there any reason as to why you think this book had just disappeared for 300 years? It disappeared because that was a time of your blessing. That was a time that you had your opportunity to follow what the Most High said during the time of 70 shepherds in the book of Enoch. Maybe Stone can get into that too. He can get into the book of Enoch and talk about that 70 shepherds. I'd love to hear a breakdown from these pastors on that. Okay? Because they've all had their opportunity to have the Israelites under their authority. But that's why you got your whole 300 years of this book just disappearing. And all of a sudden it reappears in 1930. It gets translated, and now it's in our hands once again. So who's going to know more? People way now that have all these books hidden from them, had all this information hidden from them, they can sit there and 100% say the Indians are not the Israelites. Or someone who was there in the early 1600s, who was living with these people, walking with these people, watching their practices, and he knew exactly who they were. This is why you know that the other nations are not bringing truth, because they've all been confederate in this lie. And they are still confederate in this lie all the way until today. This is why the Holy Spirit had to come back to bring all things back into remembrance. And all things into remembrance was not just understanding of the 66 books that our adversaries had approved for us. All things in remembrance is these types of books. It brings up to remembrance the fact that these are our lands. We are those people. We are Him. We are the Most High's chosen people. And that these other nations have been setting up other people in our place. They've given our lands to other people. They've bought our high places for $75 back then in 1894, which is like $2,600 today. They had such disregard, and they didn't feel like our lands were important, that they would just pretty much just give away our ancient places. And so that they could just do whatever they wanted to them and steal all of their artifacts, send them away. But don't worry about that, though. I hope you enjoyed that, because everything is coming back to us. Our spirits are here with us again. Our ancestors are here with us again. Our Holy Mother, our Holy Spirit is here with us again. Our Father has turned His face back to us again. That's why there is no stopping this movement. There is no stopping the rise of our people. There's no stopping what is going on right now. Your fall is inevitable. Our rise is unstoppable. And there's nothing you're going to be able to do to slow it down, hinder it. You might as well just learn how to live with it, because you might as well get used to it, because we are not going anywhere. Our people are back. Our Father is back. And the Holy Spirit is here leading us into all truth again. Shalom.